Hey MVPs, Rico Knows here, talking to you guys about win totals for 2024 season. You guys know the deal. I do a deep dive on every single team. If you want to see all the teams that I've done a deep dive on, if you are an MVP, you can go to YouTube. If you subscribe through YouTube, right? If you became a member through YouTube, and you can go check the playlist. There's a 2024 Futures playlist. If you go to Patreon, you're looking under the collections, look for 2024 Futures bets, and you'll be good there. You're going to have to scroll back if you want to see all the teams. We're going alphabetical by conference. I'm now in the SEC, so we're at Mississippi State. Okay, so let's go. So if you look here, FanDuel has them at 4.5 wins. 4.5 wins is what they have to do in the regular season. Now, if you look at them last season, they managed to win 5 games. This is pretty easy for them to do. 4.5, they're expecting them to win 5 games again. Last year, the wheels fell off. Zach Arnett was fired in the middle of the season, their head coach. They have a new head coach coming in, and there's excitement, right? You got an offensive-minded coach, an offensive coordinator coming in from Oklahoma that everybody believes in. But I need to explain something to you guys. Before the season started last year, the amount of messages I got telling me Mississippi State's going to be good, you're wrong, because I didn't think they were going to be any good. I thought Zach Arnett was one of the worst hires. I thought Mississippi State was going to be terrible. I had a top 25 coaching hires, and I said Zach Arnett was not qualified to be a coach. And I was right. I think I had him like way down there ranked. And everybody told me, no, they're going to win a lot of games because they're very senior laden. They have some amazing players on defense. And you don't know, Rico. Rico doesn't know. They got all these players on defense. Well, they did have a lot of senior players on defense, a lot of seniority. It didn't win any games for them. So if you see, they go up against an FCS opponent to start the season. They win. They beat Arizona in overtime. Don't let this fool you. Arizona was not starting Noah Fafita at this time. They were starting Jaden DeLara at quarterback. So this is not an impressive win, if you ask me. Arizona was doing all the wrong things. Getting blown out by LSU. Losing to South Carolina, and this is a game where their defense should have showed up and won that game for them, and it didn't, okay? Losing to Alabama, expected. Beating Western Michigan, but it's very concerning that they gave up 28 points to Western Michigan. Western Michigan was actually ahead during this game, and Mississippi State did not look as dominant in this game as you would think. 2 weeks to prepare for Arkansas, and managed to eke that out despite Arkansas having an all-time epic, terrible season last year. They win 7-3. Losing to Auburn, who would then go on to get blown out by New Mexico State. Losing to Kentucky, it's crazy. Losing to Texas A&M, 51-10. Games like this don't happen. Like, that doesn't happen to a senior defense, and it did in 4K. Then you go blow out a team you're supposed to beat like Southern Miss, still giving up 20 points to Southern Miss. That's scary. And then Ole Miss, rivalry game. That was your trap game there. Rivalry game here, and you play really well. Actually cover the spread. Ole Miss was a 20-point favorite. Didn't happen. It shouldn't happen in an Egg Bowl in the rivalry game. So all in all, no real surprises here, except for the fact that they were able to beat Arizona in overtime. It was a very sloppy game. And losing or beating Arkansas 7-3, just doesn't look impressive. And then losing 51-10 to Texas A&M is insane. Texas A&M is not that dominant. At least they weren't all season long. So when you look at Mississippi State, their players, Will Rogers is gone. He's now at Washington. Mike Wright is gone. He's now at, where did Mike Wright go? Mike Wright went somewhere unrealistic. Northwestern, I think. Yeah, he won't be playing there. Chris Parsons still there, and this is a young man a lot of people had hope for as a freshman. He got on the field, and he wasn't ready to be on the field. 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 42% completion percentage. You can't get excited after what you saw in Chris Parsons. Yes, he can run a little bit, but he ended up with -9 yards rushing on the season. Jaquavius Marks left, went to USC. Woody Marks. Seth Davis, I believe, is gone. Mike Wright gone. Jeffrey Pittman is still around. Kavion Lee, the Penn State transfer, still around. Has never found his form from 2021. Lydetrick Griffin, stud, gone. Creed Whitmore, don't get it twisted, 15 yards a carry, 60 yards. All that was on 1 carry, 53 yards. Creed Whitmore is, he's FCS caliber. He's FCS caliber, just so we're clear. The rest of these guys, Xavier Thomas gone. They just don't have a lot of people left. Xavier Thomas went to, I want to say LSU. He's in the starting lineup right now. Griffin, NFL. Justin Robinson just hit the transfer portal. I forget where he just committed. He just committed the other day. Might be Washington. I don't remember. Mark's gone. Freddie Roberson probably regrets showing up. FCS transfer, final year. Wanted to show he can play at the highest level, and it didn't pay off. Like I said, Creed Whitmore, FCS caliber player, and everybody else is very underwhelming. They're telling me Jordan Mosley is playing well. That's what they're telling me in the spring stuff. Don't care. And I should have probably looked at spring reports before I started this, but it really doesn't matter, guys. When you look at Nathaniel went to the NFL, 137 tackles. 130 tackles in Jet Johnson, gone. Richardson, gone. I believe Ellington's still here. We're going to see it on the next page. A lot of their talent is just legitimately gone. You haven't seen this type of drop-off in a while. And what's crazy is when you get a new coach, they usually bring their Louis luggage, but because they hired a non-head coach, there was nobody to bring. He didn't bring anybody with him. It wasn't like a whole baggage full of people. He was just scrounging around trying to find people. And this is Levy, right? Here, let me show you guys. When we look at the depth chart and you look at some of these players coming in, maybe I should do transfers first. I'll talk about transfers first. Let's do that. Well, either way. So Blake Shapen coming in to be your starting quarterback. This is the Baylor transfer. Yes, he was better than Kyron Drones according to the coaches, but at Baylor, he wasn't that good. He's not terrible, just wasn't that good. So is he ready to move from the Big 12 to the SEC? We're going to find out. I'm telling you, he's not. Blake Shapen's not great, and your backup quarterback isn't ready. So this is what you're stuck with, okay? Kendrick Billings-Jones, a defensive lineman in the rotation. This guy's been in college for a while now. Right, 2020, never really played anything at North Carolina. So you're coming to be a rotational piece. They need you. Good luck. Ethan Miner, starting center. This is a young man that started his career at Arkansas State, was good there. Transferred to North Texas, was good there. And now he's coming to be a starter. This is an exciting pick. And you'll notice when I get to the depth chart, Mississippi State rebuilt their entire offensive line with the transfer portal. And they found starters. Okay, it looks like they spent some money and found some starters. McKalen Pounders coming over from Memphis, starting. Good young talent. They hit up Memphis for a lot of players. What you don't want to hit Memphis up for is defenders. Memphis defense is terrible. They won 10 games. Their offense is superior. Their defense is bad. Trey Wright, a 2023 kid, only 1 year over there, didn't play, and he's coming over. He was just a redshirt guy. Then you got the Ball brothers. Not to be confused with Lonzo and LeVar and all them other big baller brand guys. Cam Ball, and Justin Ball. Now, Justin Ball is a senior, leaving Vandy, played some at Vandy, so he's coming to be the starting tight end. He's SEC caliber, if you will, but it's nothing to write home about, and his brother's backing him up. He played a little bit at Buffalo. He eventually got in the starting lineup last year. I think he might have started half the season. You got Kapaka here from Purdue. Been at Purdue a long time. And never really popped on tape for me. Rotational guy at best. Marlon Martinez, shout out to him, St. Thomas Aquinas, leaving LSU, going to Mississippi State, finally going to get in the starting lineup. He will be a starting guard, and he's good. He's borderline good. Like, he just can't play at LSU. LSU has good linemen. He couldn't start. Kelly Akari, he had one game in Conference USA where he, went for 200 and something yards. He was unstoppable for UTEP. But UTEP's quarterback play was one of the worst in America. So I'm still not sure how good Kelly is. I probably should have read the spring reports to see how good he's doing. But last year, seeing him dominate in one game and then disappear in the next never really moved me. But if you think he's SEC caliber, go for it. I think this wide receiver room's gross. I think it's very anemic. I think it's missing everything. Zach Haynes, good punter. I'm going to tell you guys, this young man started at the FCS level, was an all-conference punter there, moved to New Mexico State, and now he's moving here. He's on his way up. So this is a good punter. I don't care what you do. That guy can play. He can punt. Kevin Coleman coming over from Louisville. Everybody knows Kevin Coleman, former 3-4-star player coming out of high school. Coach Prime convinced him to go to Jackson State for a year. Then he went to Louisville last year instead of Colorado. He played at Louisville, but when you're at Louisville and you're running into guys like Jamari Thrash and Bruce Higgins, and some other receivers, you start to realize there's levels to this. So to see him to come back to Mississippi State, that's fine, but it's not a home run hit like you think. He's just a good player, role player for sure. This is a home run hit right here. Getting Stone Blanton to come back home is a huge one. This is a young man that managed to be a starter at South Carolina at linebacker. He's probably going to lead the team in tackles this year. He's a stud. And you lost your linebackers to the NFL draft, so you need to find answers, and they found one in Stone. Stone's good. Wilkie Denaud winning the bidding war for this young man. He never played at Auburn, though, so we'll see what's up. Coming in for the rotation. Jacoby Jackson, going to be pretty decent. Another starter for them. D'Angelo Brumfield from Memphis. I told you guys about these DBs, although Brumfield's actually played, so it's not bad. Former JUCO, and let me just say this. They do have a number of JUCO guys. So when I say former JUCO, it's being like, I can't say it for every single guy, but when you see a guy, it's a former JUCO guy. Like, just get used to it, okay? Devon Booth, at Utah State, they had 3 running backs that were worth a damn when I turned on the tape. 3 of them, and Booth is one of them. Booth is good. Leaving Utah State, going to Mississippi State, this was not who they wanted. They obviously wanted Rashad Amos. They obviously wanted other running backs, but this was who they landed when they finally got around to the end of April. So you take what you can get, right? Once again, nothing remarkable, just got some guys. Nothing remarkable, just got some guys. Trent Hudson, another wide receiver. It's not great. He's okay. We watched a lot of New Mexico State football. We were betting the overs on some of these wide receivers, and they wouldn't get any catches in the whole game. And the over was like 40 yards. Trent Hudson's one of those guys, just so you know. Montre Miller, I like him a lot. West Virginia corner, just a little short. And he was opposite of Beanie Bishop. He was in the same defensive backfield as Anthony Wilson, some other good defenders. And so I go watch the tape. Very experienced, been around a long time. You see it here. Left high school in 2018. Shout out to Blythewood. But small guy, 5'10", 160, just small guy. I think he plays with a lot of fire, but it's not the caliber of the corners they had or the players. And you see who departed. Like I said, Justin Robinson went to West Virginia. My bad. I said Washington was a W. West Virginia. Mike Wright went to Northwestern, like I said. Trent Singleton went to South Alabama, Purdue. You know, you start losing players to Auburn, losing to Carlos Nicholson, a good defender that they had, a starter, going to USC. Jaquavius Marks, USC. You know, it's a who's who. You losing your starting quarterback, your star receiver, tight end who used to be at Georgia, going back to Georgia Tech. I go on and on and on. There's Simeon Price. There's Nakai Poole. It's a damn shame all the guys they lost. And you lose Richardson. He's not in the portal. He's in the NFL now. So, all that to say this. Oh, and Wilkie Denaud is gone, right? He left already? He came and then he left. When you look at their schedule for 2024, remember, the over-under for this is 4.5 wins. 4.5 wins. So where do you think they're getting their 4.5 wins when you look at this schedule? I can tell you they're not winning in November outside of UMass. So they're not going to beat Tennessee. They're not going to beat Missouri or Ole Miss, so we don't need to look at that. They're beating UMass. We'll talk about Arkansas in a little bit. They're not beating A&M, Georgia, or Texas. Nope. Not even going to be competitive in these games. So they're losing those 3 games. They're losing those bottom games. So, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games to talk about here. 6 games to talk about, and you want them to win 4.5. Okay? The 4.5 that they're supposed to win are Eastern Kentucky, Arizona State on the road, Toledo, and UMass. That's 4. And now they have to beat either Florida or Arkansas at home. One of them, and you get to 5. I'm telling you guys, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're comparable to Florida. Number one, I think Florida's just a better team. Graham Mertz and those boys, they look better in the spring. They look more poised to win. They have better coaching. I think Florida's a better team than Mississippi State, okay? And then Arkansas, I actually think Arkansas, and I don't like Arkansas's wide receivers, but they have a better playmaker at quarterback, and I just trust them more. I trust Arkansas more than this team. With the amount of production lost, seniority lost, but defensive production and offensive production lost by this team, I don't think they can beat Arkansas. But I know they can't beat Florida. And I'm willing to wonder if they can beat Arizona State. It's crossed my mind. Can they beat Arizona State on the road? They don't travel well. Let's see what they do on the road at Arizona State week 2. But by then, your bet needs to be in before the season starts. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm on the under. And some of you might look at this and be like, Rico, I'm going to go on the over on this. You can fade me. We're going to find out who's right. But I'm on the under and heavy. I'm on the under 4.5 wins, 3 units. And it's a lock. Because I don't see them beating Florida. So what do you have them doing? How do you have them winning 5 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got them beating Arkansas, Arizona State, Toledo. Okay. I don't. You could. You get plus money if you go the other way. I think it's plus money if you have them beating Florida or Arkansas. So feel free to do you, but I'm going to ride with this one, and I'm going to ride it pretty heavy. I think Mississippi State's going to be terrible this year. I think Blake Shapen is not very good. I think their team as a whole lost a ton of talent, and they're going to be worse than they were last year. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Good luck, y'all.